So it's been all over the news, and I'm sure you guys know about the Wagner coup that is going on in Russia right now. Um, obviously, there's a fog of war that's going on. There's a lot of information that we don't know about. There's a lot of details that, you know, that are being suppressed, and a lot of speculation is used as propaganda in both the West and in Russia and Ukraine. Um, we don't really know. There's a lot of different ways that this could potentially play out. The last I heard is that the Chechens were sent in to fight the Wagner group in Rostov on Don. Um, just given the alleged troop movements, it sounds like this is pretty serious. I heard a number that was as high as 50,000. 50,000 doesn't seem like it's a lot compared to, the 300,000, troops, maybe even more than that, that Putin and the Russian government has mobilized. But 50,000 can actually do a lot of damage. They're combat trained. They're, by all accounts, very professional, and they're very experienced. So this is a very serious threat if it is the full 50,000 of these troops that have taken over Rostov-on-Don and allegedly are expanding their hold around southern Russia. This is not something we need. We don't need a civil war in a nuclear state like Russia. There's been some speculation that there was an accounting error recently at the Pentagon of some billions of dollars, and we wonder if maybe some of that went to Prigozhin to bribe him to do what he is doing now. It's not a good situation. It's something that even gives me some stress, and I live here in the United States. This isn't good for anybody. The world really needs stability more than anything else. We don't need a country like Russia to become unstable. This is one of the reasons, by the way, I'm opposed to the war in Ukraine. Our so-called leaders in DC think that this war is their ticket to destabilizing Russia, and I think their goals and their motivations are seriously flawed. Would you want an intact Russia that you can bargain with, or do you want a fractured state with multiple parties vying for power? You have different ethnicities in Russia, in southern Russia especially, but also out in Siberia, and even within Russia's core. You got the Muslim Tartars and Tatarstan, and you got obviously the Slavs further west. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the CIA was involved in this, but this is not good. Now, how this can play out, that entirely depends on the number and the motivations of the Wagner group. Again, we don't really know this for sure. There's a lot of speculation, but let's pretend this is worst case scenario. Let's say it's the full 50,000. And their goal and motivation is destabilization of Russia. You have to think about this from their point of view. What do they hope to achieve? Are they actually really seriously considering marching on Moscow? Even if they do, what is that going to do? You have different factions throughout Russia. Now, the way Russian politics works is that you have different regions coalesce around sort of a strongman, and that strongman has been Putin and Putin's regime for a while. Would they switch allegiances if the Wagner group marches into Russia and doesn't encounter enough resistance? Given Russia's situation, I think, and given the fact that there are a lot of people in Russia that are very loyal to Putin, if the Wagner group does this, it will be a civil war in Russia. And that could totally foil their efforts in Ukraine. That could seriously put a strain on the entire Russian system. Their economy, you know, everything from, and not to mention their industrial output, everything. The entire stability of the country would be in serious peril. Uh, so we can only hope that that doesn't happen. The idea is if the Chechens, and I keep mispronouncing his name. It's like Kardiev or something. I probably butchered his name, but if he marches from the south and hopefully draws Wagner Group towards the south, that misdirects them away from Moscow. Still, that's not a good situation because of Russia's many different ethnic minorities in the south. It's already a powder keg in that region anyway. So I don't know. I don't know. This is definitely not a good situation at all. And I can only hope that we're not looking at the worst case scenario. I can only hope that it's a relatively small group of the Wagner Group that's doing this. And I only hope that that Prigozhin tries to walk this back. So we'll see. But I at this point, I don't think Putin will trust him. I think Prigozhin is toast. So, given that, Prigozhin might be, inclined to go all the way if that's the case. So I don't know. I believe he does have political ambitions, from what I understand. He's been making statements. He's been criticizing the war effort in Ukraine for a while. So we'll see. I can only hope for the best, but I think people need to prepare for the worst on this one. So this is definitely not very good. And again, I would not at all be surprised if the intelligence network here in the United States had a hand in this, in which case I can't express my hatred enough for the deep state, that destabilizes everybody in the world, including Americans. I mean, they're truly not just, anti-human, but they're anti-American in a lot of ways. This is not American, to destabilize Russia, the Russian Federation as the way it is, and to destabilize a nuclear state like the way they're doing. So anyway, let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst.